Hey Aries, happy September 2017. Hope everybody's doing fantastic. This is Dark Dove Tarot. As you know, I always pre-shuffle, but I'm going to add a little energy to the cards before we get started. As I always say, I move pretty fast. I have a lot to say, a lot I want to get out, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. At the moment, it is night, and one of my neighbors is banging. So outside, doing sawing or something, so if you hear it, I apologize. This is a general read, so check your sun, moon, and rising, as those may resonate with you sometimes more than others. This is a reading about love for anybody who is single or looking to reconcile. Those tend to be the people who ask for private reads, email me, etc. So those seem to be the people watching my videos. Again, hope you're doing amazing. And, all right, there we go. Aries, September 2017. Any likes, comments, subscribes, always appreciated. If you want a private read, donation information is in the description. Again, please remember it is general. Hopefully it resonates with the majority of you, but check your other signs as well. All right. Here we go. All right, Aries, we always start with the card coming into the month, your current position, and you have the Emperor. The Emperor, ever, you know, the idea of authority and traditional values. If you're dating, immediately this makes me think that some of you may have been dating online or doing meetup groups, but now you're going towards more traditional or value-oriented dating. You know, Aries are a fire sign, and therefore, you know, you can tend to be a little hot and sassy and sexy and however you want to say it. But I feel like some of you may actually be looking at like church, or maybe not even church. It could be like somebody who's Buddhist, or, you know, whatever it is. I feel like some of you are going outside of the norm, you know, to kind of find what you're looking for. And I think that's exciting. If you're single, this is also about like kingship. So I think you're presenting yourself in a way that maybe you haven't before. Maybe it's not that you haven't, it's just maybe you were a little bit of the fiery energy, right? And you were raring to go, and you're really like outgoing, which is fantastic. But I really feel like coming into September, some of you like had fun and had a blast and maybe partied over the summer or went on a bunch of dates, and now you're kind of like reining it back in, and you're kind of like, you know, I'm, you know, somebody that's worth having somebody amazing in my life. That makes sense. It definitely is interesting to see this, because it really does feel like you've stepped back a little bit. This is about structure, and I feel like some of you have had fun, which is good. And some of you have gone out and maybe, you know, you weren't looking for anything too serious. And now it seems like some of you are, but you're coming in to September with a really positive attitude and a can-do attitude and a, you know, I can find who I want. And you're kind of realizing that whatever you put out into the universe is what you get back. And a lot of signs have seemed to start that this month, Like maybe it was footloose and fancy-free over the summer, and now you're reining it in a little bit. And if you're single, that's exactly what I'm getting here, that you're putting on that emperor type hat, and you're, you know, the king's crown, and you're kind of like, okay, I had fun. Maybe I had physical fun. Maybe I went on a lot of flirty dates. Maybe you know, weren't really looking for anything. You just wanted to kind of see what was out there. Nothing wrong with that. Now you're moving into the more traditional values. Again, I said like maybe you're meeting people outside of meetup dates or dating sites. It doesn't necessarily have to be that way. It may just be that you're picking people that are more along what you're looking for long term. Because the Emperor very much stands out as somebody who's looking for traditional type values, which traditional nowadays, what is that, right? It means something different to everybody, but whatever's traditional to you, you've kind of slowed down a little bit. You're taking a little more time to weed out the bullshit and go from there. And that's where Aries is showing they're coming in this month. If you're looking to reconcile, this is a tough one because I immediately want to focus on like marriage or commitment. Like some of you have maybe had contact from your ex and you're like, look, we've played a lot of games and we care about each other a lot, but I refuse to continue to play these games. If you want to be with me, there needs to be a commitment had, or a marriage, or we need to move in together. And not that you're being demanding. It feels like these are things that somebody's told you you're going to get for a long time, and you're just not getting them, and you're tired of it. You're not going to play the games anymore. And that's where you're kind of being the authority figure and the emperor. Not authority like I'm the boss of you, but maybe you've just got, I mean, for some of you, it feels like it could be years. Like you spent 2-3 years with this person, and they were like, oh yeah, we're going to move on and get married, and we're going to move on to, you know, like living together, and none of it's happened. I feel like some of you are staring at like a bachelor or bachelorette going, what have we been doing for 3 years? What have we been building up to? Could be you, but I really get the sense that you're feeling a little taken aback by it, and maybe they've been in contact with you. It almost seems like you expected it, or you've been in contact for a while, a couple weeks, maybe a month or so, and you're just kind of, you know, standing your ground, which I think is important. The next card you have is often internal, any feelings or challenges that help or hinder your current position. You have the Hierophant, and that's actually goes along with this very well, because this is about being a teacher, being a leader, about conformity, but conformity and religion, ironically. But the Hierophant is about saying, look, you know, there are certain things I want in my life. Maybe we, you know, and this is for anybody who's looking to date and possibly anybody who's looking to reconcile, but, you know, it's kind of like, maybe I want to have fun. Maybe I want to be that footloose and fancy free. But I think some of you maybe wanted that, and now you're changing that. You're tired of the dating. You're tired of the back and forth. You're tired of meeting people who, you know, want one thing and one thing only. It could even be that you're just exhausted. I feel like this is kind of exhausting. And some of you are seeking, you know, inspiration from other people. Some of you are going to best friends, going to family members who are successful in dating, marriage, relationships. And you're saying, if I really want to land somebody amazing, or I want somebody to take me seriously, or, you know, what should I look out for? And again, your idea of what you want is going to be different from theirs, but maybe it'll give you an idea of where they looked, or I just feel like with the Hierophant, a lot of you are seeking some sort of wisdom, you know, kind of tired of it. And some of you are overwhelmed. You're getting a plethora of dates and offers, but none of it seems to be something that feels right for you, or that feels, something's missing. There's something lackluster, and you're trying to figure out how to get that, and you really are feeling like clueless, like putting myself out there, I'm being honest with people, I'm putting my best foot forward, I'm letting people know what I want, I'm not playing any games, and I still am getting rubbish. And so if you're dating, we'll see what the rest of the spread says, but this tells me that some of you have kind of, you're like turning a new leaf, like, you know, this isn't working. What I'm doing right now isn't working, so I need to figure something out. And you may, again, be talking to friends or people who've been successful at it. It's hard work, you know, it takes a lot of time, but you're kind of feeling like maybe you've made changes in how you're dating or going about dating or things you're looking for, and you're still ending up with the same options, and it's not working for you. If you're looking to reconcile, again, for some reason, religion's coming in a little bit here, and it's saying like maybe you're talking to a priest or a rabbi, or you're going to counseling, or, you know, maybe again with the tradition of you saying to your partner, look, I really want something stable, and I'm not looking to party anymore, and I'm looking to, you know, really grow. And I think the Hierophant for some of you is saying, you're almost like, look, you know, if you're not that person, or you're not somebody who wants to join a life with me and ever have kids, or ever, you know, move on from, it's almost like one of you is growing up and the other one isn't. Whether it's you or them, I don't know, but I do get the sense that it's them that's not growing up. And you're kind of going, look, I am not, like, you are not my kid. You need to kind of wrap your head around this and understand that at some point in your life you mature, and we moved to a different stage in our life. So maybe you were in your 20s, now you're in your 30s, and you're going, look, we've been doing the same dance, the same thing for years, and I'm just not willing to continue to do it. I want more. I see myself having more. I see myself having the house, the kids, maybe things that you scoffed at and said, oh, we'd never do that. And now you're going, look, I kind of want the traditional. Nothing wrong with that. All right, the next card you have is your distant past. So over the past few years, this is generally a long time ago. So I read this together for anybody looking to reconcile or anybody who is single, because this is generally, if you're looking to reconcile, it can be the person that you're watching the video for, but a lot of times it's not. This is distant. And again, I always bring this card into play, mainly because this card, this position of distant past, brings on things that either you need to appreciate about your past relationships, so you know and remember what it is that made you happy or what really worked, so you can bring that into the future, or it tells you who to steer clear of, or decisions, or, you know, situations you may have been in that, you know, you want to be careful about. Now, the Two of Wands is about decision making. It's about stalemate. It's interesting. That's been coming up for a ton of signs, not in this position necessarily. I think I had a sign come into the month with that, and another sign who had it as like an immediate future. But for you, you have it in your distant past. So this tells me that at some point you had a decision to make, and it may have been a decision you're regretting now, but you have to let go of that regret, because you can't change it, but you can change the decisions you made now. The Two of Swords definitely is like love lost. It's like saying, at one point I had to make a decision between two people. I did, and now I know years later that it was a bad decision. Well, okay, but you can't do anything. If you want to go back and see what they're up to, by all means do it. But this definitely speaks of, you know, making a choice that came to a stalemate, that just wasn't the right choice. And it doesn't necessarily mean it wasn't the right choice. Some of you, you know, had kids with this person and you had a decent time, but it's almost like there was a romance missing, or some sort of love or something that you're just feeling like that you missed out on. And again, I mean, you know, you can't change the past. You can only move on from it. And try and make better choices and decisions. And some of you felt like your hands were tied. I mean, I hate to say it, but some of you, it was like you were pregnant, or you didn't want to hurt this person because you truly love them, and you thought maybe things would change over time. And so really strongly, I'm getting that some of you married for kids, or some of you married for, you know, reasons that you know now shouldn't be there. And so you're coming into this dating, trying to figure out, how do I find somebody who makes me happy? Because you were happy with that person, but maybe it just wasn't, you know, well, obviously it wasn't. If they're your exes and they're in your past, it wasn't something that worked, or that was going to continue throughout your life and be what you really wanted. And I think some of you also had partners that you thought were one way, and then after years you discovered they're complete crazy, like, this is a mess. Because the Two of Swords is also about duality and different personalities. So maybe you dealt with a schizophrenic, maybe, and I laugh just because, I mean, I have heard stories lately for some reason about just scenarios I couldn't even fathom. Little tidbit, I met a guy who, his ex-wife, I met him hanging out with a group of friends, and we all went out and met for coffee one day, and he happened to be sitting at the table I was sitting at, and he was talking about his ex-wife who was schizophrenic and took their credit cards and flew to Mexico for 2 weeks and nobody could find her. I mean, just, I don't know why that resonates here, but it just tells me that some of you maybe were dealing with situations you were not prepared for. You thought somebody was one way and they weren't. Or it could come down to mental illness. You found out somebody was severely bipolar and they needed a lot of help, and you stuck with it and you couldn't. Or maybe, you know, you went through battles of your own. But whatever the case is, you know, you just can't dwell on the past. And this tells me that some of you are going, man, I wish I had done things differently. Well, you didn't. So you can either move on, or you can pass up opportunities that may be right in front of you. The next card you have is your immediate past. So over the past few weeks, past month or two, and you have the Eight of Cups. Immediately, the Eight of Cups tells me if you're single, things are not moving in the direction you thought they were, which would kind of clue in with the Hierophant and the Emperor, especially the Hierophant, thinking like, who could I talk to who maybe you know, has experience in this and can help me figure out exactly what's going on and what's fundamentally wrong, or, you know, what you could change about how you're approaching certain situations and dating. The 8 is dissatisfaction, stagnation, again, just sitting still. So if you're single, I think you're kind of like, what is going on? I meet these people, it goes nowhere. Or, you know, I talk to these people and they disappear or ghost or whatever the terms are. Or, you know, you think this person's like, oh yeah, I think you're great and let's go out again. And you go out 1 or 2 more times and they're just kind of like playing the field. And you're just like, what is going on? I'm putting my best foot forward. I'm doing what I thought online dating was about and whatnot, and I'm getting nowhere. So come on, like, let's move it along. I'm ready to meet somebody. I'm tired of the dating game. If you're looking to reconcile, it's very interesting. I think you're in the same headspace in the fact that you want to know one way or the other. Like, are we getting back together? Are we not getting back together? Are we, you know, on the same page? Or are we not on the same page? And like I said before, I think you have been in contact with this person and you're just kind of debating on whether you're really going to allow it. Some of you had like deceit, cheating, etc. And that's where the Emperor comes in, where it's that kind of kingly, like, you know, I'll give you another chance, but there needs to be change. And I think that with the 8, you're kind of going, look, either we're going to do this, we're going to get married, we're going to have kids, we're going to go to counseling, we're going to, whatever the situation is you're dealing with. But the 8 is saying that you're sitting here going, okay, all right, like, what are we doing? Come on. Like, I've given you enough chances. I'm not like, I have a life to live, and either you're in it or you're out of it. I feel like some of you are very frustrated and you're feeling very impatient because, which rightfully so, some of you have given chance after chance. Some of you have given years of your life, and now you're going, you know, I need an answer because I'm going to make it for us because I'm not going to wait around for what you want. This is about both of us, and we both deserve to have something amazing. And I'm once again waiting for you to decide what the heck you want. The next card you have is your distant future. So over the next few months, not just in September, and you have the 7 of Coins. This is you choosing risk reward, right? Do you combine paths or do you keep separate paths? So if you're single, you are, again, debating on what type of person you want to date. However, this immediately tells me you're going to meet somebody, and you might meet 1 or 2 people, but there's going to be somebody in particular that you're going to be assessing the situation with. You're going to be thinking about, and you're going to be like, if I make this choice, what's the risk and what's the reward in it? I don't know why you would be facing risk and reward other than I'm thinking it's something you're not used to. So it's going to be somebody that maybe has different, not necessarily values, but has different qualities than what you're used to, has maybe the traditional that you're looking for. If, you know, again, traditional in whatever the sense of traditional is for you. But the 7 of Coins is like, hey, I'm here on one path, you're here on another path. And I feel like over the next few months, you're going to be making a choice because somehow you're going to have to sacrifice something. If you're single, I feel very strongly that you're going to be not asked to sacrifice anything. I shouldn't say it that way, but yeah, maybe. Like, you're going to find somebody, you're going to meet them, it's going to be great, and you're going to be thinking, this is wonderful, but maybe they're getting deployed, and they're going to be like, hey, I really like you, come with me. Could be spur of the moment. It could be, you know, that it's a friend of yours that you never saw in that light, and he or she is like, hey, you know, we both want the same things in life. Maybe develop, you know, we have a friendship, maybe we'll develop love out of that. Something's going to come into your life that you're going to have to make a decision on whether you want to combine. I'm sorry, I'm like kind of stuttering and stuff. My throat is a little sore, and I've got a lot of like my sinuses and stuff. So if I'm sounding off, or if I'm like my words are kind of combining, it's because yeah, I'm a little stuffed up. So again, the 7 is you have to make a choice, and I feel like it's going to be a choice that may come across as exciting, but it's going to be different, and I don't know yet, you know, if it's going to be good or not. But the 7 of Coins is usually a pretty good card because it gives you the chance to combine paths. If it's something, you're going to have to go with your gut on it, right? We'll see what the rest of the spread says, but I think it may actually be a good opportunity for you if you're single. If you are looking to reconcile, this is definitely a decision. because I feel like the person that you're wondering about is going to say, well, I can come halfway here. We can maybe move in together, but I never want to get married. Or we can maybe get married, but I never want to have kids. And you're just going to kind of, with the 7, you're going to be going, is that good enough? You're going to assess the situation. You're going to make a choice. And you're going to look at it like, what am I putting on the line that I'm going to miss out in my life by doing this? And you may choose to go separate paths. You may just say, no, I want the opportunity to have kids. I want the opportunity to get married. I'm not putting stipulations on this. Either we're going to have a relationship without any type of restrictions, or I'm going to meet somebody else. The next card you have is your immediate future. So over the next few weeks into September. And you have the 2 of Cups, which is amazing. If you're single, I'm right on time, because the 2 of Cups definitely goes with that 7 of Coins. You're going to be making a decision. The 2 of Cups is about a connection, an attraction. It's going to come on swift. It's going to come on fast. I think it's going to be either in September or October. Again, because this is your immediate future. So, you know, the next few weeks into October. But I think that you're going to kind of come into September wondering, why? What's going on? Why I can't meet it? And then, boom, it's going to hit you like a, you know, bag of bricks, basically. And you're going to be going, hey, and you're going to have this immediate connection. There's going to be intimacy there. It's going to be kind of feel like the whole package. But again, I think you're going to have some sort of, you know, decision to make. Maybe they're moving in a couple months and you're kind of going, well, I don't want to really get involved with somebody who, you know, is going to be moving in the next couple of months. And they're going to be like, well, let's see how it goes. And maybe something will come of it. And maybe decisions will be made since then. I really feel like it's like relocation, or, you know, maybe you guys have such a strong connection in the next month or 2. They're like, hey, let's move in together. And you're like, whoa, that's fast. But you're going to kind of feel like, you know, you need to make a decision, and that's where the 7 comes into play. But if this connection is that strong, 2 of Cups is one of my favorite cards. It's also one of the most positive love cards in the tarot deck. And I think that, again, you're going to have to make some decisions, but the connection is going to feel like a security blanket, because you're almost going to feel like you've been friends or a married couple for years. If you're looking to reconcile, okay, well, either you're going to find your connection again, and it's going to become like marriage or whatever you want, or you're not, and over the next few weeks, next month or 2, you're going to break up. But it's very interesting here, because with this coming in where I said that some of you are going to be like, hey, either you want to get married or you don't. You're not really telling them how to do it. You're not really pointing the finger. Again, I feel like it's things that you've discussed and they've just never come into play. But Aries, why do I get the strong feeling? Some of you have been seeing somebody, or you've been out there, putting yourself out there. And I'm not saying that's bad, because I'm sure somebody's going to message me and be like, well, why shouldn't I? I mean, this person hasn't wanted anything in a long time, and now we're broken up, and don't I deserve it? Absolutely. But I think you're going to have to make a decision. This that you're waiting for answers from them, stop waiting, because that's what you've been doing this whole time. So if you want to break the cycle, say, shit or get off the pot. And if you can't do that, I'm gone. Aries, it feels like you're the one holding yourself back from this, because you're waiting on this. Don't do it. If that's not what you want, don't do it. If you want to wait, do it. But then don't complain if you don't get what you want. The next card you have is any external factors that will happen throughout the month, and you have Temperance. So this is up and down throughout September. It could happen in the middle, the beginning, the end, throughout the entire month, once during the month. But this is about moderation, balance. This is about feeling confident, but also, again, taking care and making sure that you're not like running too quickly in one direction. This is definitely, if you're single, this is you taking the break, slowing it down like I talked about. This is you about saying, okay, I'm going to go and date, but I'm going to do it in moderation. I'm not going to date anybody who asks me out. I'm going to, you know, look at the type of people that are asking me out. I'm going to look at the type of people I want to date, the type of people that make me feel good. And you're balancing things out. I feel like some of you, again, for some reason, summer seems really strong for like footloose, having fun, which is good. But some of you have noticed like your work-life balance off, your health off, routines off. And now it's like school started here in the US for a lot of kids. If you have kids, you're kind of getting back into a routine. You're realizing, hey, I can't do this. Maybe you were spending a little extra money. And now you're like, okay, gotta rein it in, gotta get some balance, but I'm gonna continue to date. I'm just gonna make sure the people that I'm dating are people that I actually want to spend time with. If you're looking to reconcile, this is the exact same thing. You're going to have confidence with whatever decision you want. And if you're not getting the balance or the compromise, you're going to have to decide finally what you want to do. And I think that's really what Temperance is saying here is you've got to feel confident that whatever decision you make was a good one. And you've got to feel confident that you don't need to wait on somebody else. And some of you may not be waiting. Some of you may be getting the invitation of, you know, let's move in, let's get married, let's whatever. And now you're going, whoa, I mean, I did want to get back together and I do want to make things happen, but maybe this person has come back in full swing, like, hey, let's get married, hey. And so you're just kind of like, okay, let's talk. We need to compromise here. We need to balance some things out. Again, honestly, Aries, I think it's you. You're going to finally be like, hey, I can do this with or without you, so I'm not waiting. I'm not waiting. I want this, and I want the opportunity to make the choices and obtain the rewards that come with knowing what I want and the confidence to get what I want. The next card you have is any future internal factors, so anything you're going to feel throughout the month of September. Again, could be throughout the entire month, could be in only part of the month. And you have the Queen of Coins. The Queen of Coins is practical, generous. So if you are looking to reconcile, I think this screams immediately practicality. You are going to look at the bigger picture, and you're going to be saying, is my reconciling with my ex, who you love and you have a connection with, worth it? And if it is, you're going to feel generous with your feelings, and you are going to end up in this situation. However, it's going to be very maternal, nurturing type of nature. So just make sure this is strictly just because of the feeling I got and it just gave me chills really bad. But like, some of you want to take care of somebody. You love this person so much that you're willing to put your life on hold, and you're willing to sacrifice things to make sure this person is taken care of. And sometimes I think you let that slip away from you being taken care of. So all I'm asking is that if everything feels good and you're feeling loving and you want to be generous with your heart and you want to just let it all go and have the Two of Cups moment with your ex, I want you to make sure that you're doing it because it's what's best for you too, not what's best for them, and that you're not giving in to anything that doesn't make you happy. That all of a sudden they don't come back and say, well, I do love you and I can't live without you, but I just can't move in right now because, like, really, I think that you just have got to be careful with that. I don't know why. I keep just getting the sense that you've just, like, you are feeling very nurturing and giving this month, and you are thinking of all the good things about your ex, which is important, and you obviously love them, or you wouldn't be watching this about whether you should reconcile, or you could be cross-checking and wondering what they're up to. But I just feel like maybe they're not giving you enough, or you're coming 50% and they're coming like 20, and they want you to come, the rest of the way. The next card you have, for anybody who's single, this is also, I knew I was forgetting something for a minute. This is actually telling me that it goes very well with the Temperance. Like, you're getting back into the swing of things. Like I said, school could be back in, and so you're having those maternal moments. You're doing a lot of family things with kids. It could be pets. It could just be siblings, parents, etc. But you too are feeling very practical. And I think at some point, this person that you're meeting that's going to make you feel like that is going to nurture you. They're going to nurture those aspects in you, like motherhood, or being a good pet owner, or being a good family member. They're going to bring out a lot of things in you to where you are going to be nurturing, and they're going to be nurturing you, and you're going to feel this need to take care of them, which, not that Aries don't, but you're not very, like, vulnerable in that, if that makes sense. And I think this person is gonna help you feel vulnerable, but in a good way. They're gonna make you, it's gonna be okay to completely feel loved and completely feel enticed by the romance. And, you know, they're just going to nurture your softer side. And I think you're going to be amazed by it. It's going to feel really good. You're going to feel like a queen, like on top of the world. The next card you have is going to be your internal hopes and fears for the outcome. And then you have your outcome. And the outcome. Queen of Swords and the Devil. The Devil is internal. The Queen is your outcome. So the Devil tells me, if you're single, you are going to enjoy this person who's nurturing you and whatnot. And you're going to learn to steer clear of people that don't. You're going to possibly, some of you maybe have a jealous tendency. I hate to say that, but the person that you're going to meet is going to make you feel very secure. So I want you to be careful with the Devil in not assuming the worst, right? Don't assume the worst. If this person's busy at work, don't assume, well, it's too good to be true. I knew it because now they're not texting me or they're not calling me. If they haven't added you as their relationship in Facebook, you know, after 6 dates, don't assume the worst. And I'm not saying you will, Aries, but I think some of you have not met somebody like this in a long time. And I feel like they may make you feel like a tinge of jealousy because it feels like the past few months, like I said, have been kind of chaotic. And you haven't allowed yourself to let your guard down enough to actually fall for somebody. This person's coming in swift, quickly. They're going to, you know, maybe, again, make an offer or some sort of, you know, move. I mean, it could even be, let's get married in December or something. But you've got to be careful not to push them away because the way they're going to treat you is going to feel so good and you're not used to it. But then they may not reciprocate. You may be used to men or women who are like, hey, what are you doing? Hey, what's up? Hey, babe. Hey. And this person's like, I've got a job. I have a lot going on. You're going to have to accept that. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not going to cheat on you. But I'm not going to babysit you either or baby you. And I know that sounds kind of harsh, but I really feel like you just got to watch it. Don't let any jealous tendencies come into play. Just be careful with that. If you're looking to reconcile, the Devil tells me that maybe somebody you've been dealing with has an addiction or they've been overdoing it. You may be getting texts or phone calls in the middle of the night because they're doing drugs or they're drinking a lot. It also could be jealousy on their part, which I heed caution of because, again, like I said here, you don't need to take care of somebody who's not willing to take care of you. And I kind of feel like if you start pulling away, your ex is going to do the whole, what are you up to? Well, who are you seeing? What are you doing? Why aren't you talking to me? And you might feel almost berated into, shoot, I better get back with them because they're really upset and they must truly love me. But it feels like, honestly, it's more of the, I don't want you, but I don't want anybody else to have you either. So pay very close attention to that, Aries, because I really feel this Devil is going to rear his ugly head at some point and they're going to say, hey, be together, and you're going to feel that tug at your heartstrings, when in reality, it's just they don't want you to be successful in love before they are. Or they don't want to think that you could be happy or find somebody without them. The outcome of the month is very good. The Queen of Swords is, if you're single, this is about insightfulness. This is about clarity. So I think that, again, I think this person that's coming in is going to show you a whole different side. They're not going to play games that make you feel like you need to be jealous. They're not going to leave anything in the air. There's going to be no unfinished business. Everything's going to be out in the open. They're going to say, this is when I work. This is when I have free time. This is what I do. Maybe they go to the gym. Maybe they walk their dog. These are the time, and their expectation is going to be that you understand that and that you're okay with it because they're not going to hurt you. Their intention is genuine. And again, I think for Aries, that's going to be a little different because you haven't had that in a long time. This person's going to be very insightful, and it's going to mesh very well with you, but it's going to be something that I think is going to take you aback in the beginning. You just got to ride it out, and I think you've got to trust them. Now, if you're getting really crazy red flags, then obviously cut your loss and run, right? But if they're not as attentive as some, excuse me, hold on, let me take a drink. If they're not as attentive as exes you're used to, it's because they're confident and secure in what they're able to give, provide, and show you. So I think, again, it's going to be something you're not used to, but you're going to end up really enjoying it. And you're going to realize, oh, this is what a healthy relationship really feels like. It's been a long time. If you're looking to reconcile, I think that you're going to see everything clearly. Something's going to come out. You're going to be very critical of your ex. And I think it may be the tipping point of you saying, I just don't know that I can do this with you. Some sort of clarity is going to come. You're going to have an aha moment. And unfortunately, I don't know that the aha moment's going to go in your favor, which seems to be a lot for everybody this month. I haven't gotten a lot of reconciliation that's been positive. I normally kind of flow smoothly, but this has been very up and down. And I think this queen at the end is you yielding your sword, saying, no, all right, I see what's going on here. I'm listening. I'm not listening to your words because you tell me what you think you want me to hear. I'm listening to your actions, and I'm just not having it. Could be completely wrong. It could be that you figure everything out and that this insightfulness is them being honest. But if they are honest, I don't think that you're going to hear exactly what you want to hear. So in the end, you're going to need to decide if this is worth your time and if you're happy, or if you're going to be happy with them. So, all right, there are two things I want to clarify here. I do want to clarify really quick. The 7 of Coins. Oh, these cards are kind of flying all over the place. I want to clarify the 7 of Coins for your future, because even though I think it's a very good future, I also think that it needs a little more clarity. Sorry, these cards just kind of flew everywhere. Because I'd like to know a little bit more about what this person has in store. And then I want to clarify your outcome, the Queen of Swords, just to see. Whoop. All right, well, I got 2, so I'll put these here. 10 of Diamonds. And the Queen of Hearts. What? Okay, so starting immediately with, well, let's do your outcome of the month. So your outcome of the month is, like I said, with the Queen, very critical, but honest. You're going to see, again, I think this person's going to be insightful, and they're going to be amazing. If you're single, they're going to give you that feeling that you're not used to, or that you haven't had in a long time. The 10 of Diamonds goes along with that very well, because the 10 is saying, look, we can be prosperous together. So, and this is very much about family. It's also about wealth. So it's very interesting because, like I said, with the Queen, that like this person's going to say this is how it is. And so I think that this is going to be somebody that you're going to be able to like put a family together, if that makes sense. You're going to be able to like join your families and become like the Brady Bunch if you have that many kids or whatever. But you know what I mean? You're going to be able to combine families, because you're going to be like, hey, like I know exactly who this person is. They're not hiding anything from me. They know what they want, and this is like super surprising. And you know, I think it just reiterates that they're gonna tell you what you want. Again, it may not be in the way that you're used to, but all of a sudden it's gonna be clear to you, like, this is the first person who's treated me like this in a long time, and it's very good. If you're looking to reconcile, the 10 is almost like breaking apart like a family property. It's like splitting ways, and it's like splitting inheritances. So honestly, I think that kind of gives you your answer. Again, not for everybody. This is general. There's so many outcomes, but I think you will be splitting ways. I think if there's anything you need to reconcile as far as property together, things, belongings, pets, etc., I think you will be cutting ties and moving away from that. Again, I kind of think you already know that, because there's somebody waiting in the wings for you too. But you just didn't give them that much time or attention because you wanted to make sure everything was over with your ex before you went in that direction. Your, distant future, you have the Queen of Hearts, and that's fantastic, because the Queen is somebody who's very emotional, somebody who's understanding. Now, I told you, singles, I think you're going to have an opportunity or something that comes up here. The Queen can be dependent. So I think you might get an opportunity to move, or move in with somebody, or get married to somebody, or even start thinking about planning a life together, whatever it is. The Queen says, you know, it could be very emotional, but very emotional in a good way. So keep in mind, I mean, even if you're nervous or scared or it's something you're not used to, again, go with your gut. But I think you'll already know, because I think this person will present their trustworthiness and their intentions very clearly, again, by this Queen. If you're looking to reconcile, this is major dependence. So this is codependence. So I think over the next few months, if you stay with your ex and you reconcile, then your codependency is going to grow further and further and further. This is somebody who's empathetic, so you definitely don't want them going, oh, all right, I'll get back with you, and you definitely don't want to do that. So if it's not 100% there, don't go with it. But if it is, and it is the positive move, then you will have some emotional times, and you just got to be careful that you don't become dependent on them any more than you may have, or they may have you. Okay. All right, Aries, have a great September. I'll see you next month. Bye.